G'day, it's James from Espresso Resto. Today I'm going to have a chat to you about a really interesting machine called a Francis. This machine is actually owned by Illy Coffee. It has a few interesting features that allow us to use Illy coffee, but there's also some features that allow us to choose our own coffee. So let's have a look. So this particular model is the X1 Generation 2, and you can tell it's the Generation 2 because it comes with a 57 millimeter portafilter for ground coffee, as well as an ESE portafilter. Now, that's something we haven't spoken about before on our Espresso Resto demo videos. So what I wanted to do today was actually talk to you a little bit about this. And while I'm not being sponsored by Illy, it just happens to be that I'm going to use some Illy coffee here. So this is an ESE espresso pod. So it's basically like a tea bag for coffee. So it comes in a little sachet because it needs to keep the coffee nice and fresh. But then we tear open the sachet, and inside is, like I said, a bit of a tea bag. Now that goes into this portafilter like this. The idea here is that it's the perfect dosage for an espresso shot. And it's nice and clean. There's no grinds falling all over the place, but it does mean you're locked in with whoever you've bought. You don't get to adjust anything as you like. But let's give it a go and see what happens. I must admit, I'm not a big user of ESEs, but I just wanted to show you what it's all about because it is a very clean and tidy option. So we've got the portafilter locked into place. I'm going to put the cup underneath. Now, these are the buttons. You've got the power on and off. They're not marked, but power on and off. We've got our brew button, and then we've got our steam button. So what we're needing to do here is just we can see we're at a little bit above 100 degrees, which is probably not super ideal, but for the sake of this, let's just flip the switch and see what happens. So the pump's off and away now, and we're seeing the coffee extracted through the portafilter now. Yeah, we're getting a bit of crema. I wouldn't say it's the best coffee I've ever seen, but you know, when it's early in the morning and you're really looking for a cup of coffee, I'd take that. And then we switch it off. So we've got a bit of crema there, but it's not my best ever result. So after you're done, this is what you've got. You've got this bag, it's wet, it's got the grounds in it. Now I would hazard a guess that you could probably compost that because it's like a paper material and you've got a lot of organic material there, so probably compostable. If you've got a compost bin, otherwise just into the general waste. So now we're using the ground coffee portafilter, and it comes with its own special tamp. So we're going to give this, I put some ground coffee in, give it a tamp down. Then there's a unique feature here where we push down and we then twist the handle to the left and then lift the handle off and retain the bottom of the tamp in the portafilter. Now that's designed that when you remove the portafilter, it's like it stops any sort of like pressure from the coffee sort of spewing out. It's unnecessary, but let's give it a shot. So I've got that portafilter handle locked in place. Grab a cup, and now we'll hit the brew switch and see how we go. Ooh. I think I like these beans better than the Illy because this looks like a really good coffee. So this machine is able to generate a very good cup of coffee in either format, to be honest. Now let's have a look at that. So as you can see, we've got a really good crema on that. Now that is a function of the beans that I have and the ground consistency, and that's generated a really good cup of coffee, Mr. Francis. So now if you're a latte drinker, you'd be thinking, I wonder how the milk is. So let's flip on the steam. We'll wait for that boiler to increase in temperature, ready to steam. In the meantime, I'll go grab some milk and let's make a latte. Power is off now, so it's reached temperature. So we'll give it a bit of a purge, plenty of steam, grab our little milk jug, and away we go. This one has a little bit of a steel Panarello on it, so it will generate a fluffier foam. You can cover up the hole on the Panarello if you wanted to try and get a less loose foam. There's plenty of steam here for warming the milk though. It's not the most practical position. And there we go, it's nice and hot now. Oh, give it a little purge. So that was the Francis X1 Generation 2 espresso machine with a ESE portafilter and the 57mm ground coffee portafilter, making a lovely latte. So I hope you found the video interesting, and in the meantime, keep caffeinated.